They always found themselves in the middle of the chaos. At recess, when the ball, or whatever stood in for a puck, was loose, every scramble, every argument, every collision seemed to orbit around them. Not because they were the fastest kid or the biggest one, but because something about them pulled the game their way, like gravity and sneakers. The other kids had simpler dreams. The winger types wanted glory, chasing the moment they could raise their arms and hear the cheers. The goalie wannabes wanted the drama of a last-second save, the hero shot that made them larger than life. But this kid? He somehow picked the thankless job, the connector, the one who kept it all from falling apart. It wasn't flash, it was instinct. He could read the scramble before it even happened, sense where the ball would bounce, where a teammate might suddenly appear, where a gap would open like a trapdoor no one else noticed. It looked like luck to everyone else, but really it was closer to the strange intuition of a chess player who can see 5 moves ahead. And funny enough, that's how legends begin, not under spotlights, not with fireworks, but on cracked pavement and uneven grass. Even the greats, Crosby, Toes, started that way, not as highlight reels, but as kids stuck in the center of a messy, improvised game. The difference is, most kids eventually wander out of the middle. He never did. Maybe it wasn't a choice at all. Maybe it was a curse disguised as talent. The crowd erupted when the winger's shot hit the back of the net. Cameras zoomed in, the replay ran 3 times, and the announcer's voice stretched his name into legend. What nobody noticed was the invisible hand that set the whole thing up. The center, who had already touched the puck more times that night than the winger would all week. From the press box, it looked almost cruel. The numbers were there. Centers, on average, handle the puck dozens more times per game than wingers. They win faceoffs. They absorb hits in the corners. They deliver the pass that cracks open a defense. But stats like that don't make the evening highlight reel. No kid ever begged his parents for a jersey that says 78% face-off win rate. It's like watching a bridge being built. The center lays every stone, bolts every beam, tests the weight, and then someone else gets to walk across it, arms raised, into the spotlight. The winger is remembered as the hero. The center is remembered, if at all, as support. Even the broadcast plays accomplice. The replay rarely shows the 2 or 3 touches that mattered most. They cut away the scaffolding and present only the finish, the glitter, the goal, the roar. To the fans, the center never existed. And yet, here's the twist. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the center's greatness is measured not in the cheers he collects, but in the silence that follows, the kind where nobody even realizes how much work he did, because he made it look too easy. The entire arena held its breath at the face-off. One flick of the stick, 1/2 second of timing, and suddenly the puck was theirs, or gone. It looked like a coin toss to the casual fan, but to the coach on the bench, it was the start of everything. That's the curse of the center. Every task on the whiteboard has their name scribbled next to it. Face-offs? That's them. Back-checking a winger on a breakaway? That's them. Forechecking a defenseman into coughing up the puck? Still them. Penalty kill, power play, neutral zone clogging. It doesn't matter. If the system requires oxygen, the center has to be the pair of lungs. One coach once put it bluntly. If your center is bad, your whole system collapses. He wasn't exaggerating. A winger can disappear for a shift, float at the blue line, wait for a lucky bounce, and still walk away a hero. A center tries that, and suddenly the scoreboard lights up, in the wrong color. Numbers back it up. Centers log more touches, more defensive zone entries, and more ice time than nearly anyone else. They're the hockey equivalent of air traffic controllers, constantly scanning, constantly directing, constantly a 1/2 second away from disaster. And here's the cruel irony. The very position designed to hold a team together is also the one most likely to break it. One lazy backcheck, one lost face-off, one missed read, and the whole illusion of control shatters. So yes, the center is the system's anchor. But in the wrong moment, he's also the crack that sinks the ship. The camera caught him wincing as he lined up for the draw. Broken ribs, a separated shoulder, cartilage torn to shreds. And still Patrice Bergeron leaned in, stick on the ice, like nothing was wrong. Fans called it bravery. Teammates called it necessity. The truth? It was the unwritten job description of a center. Centers are like firefighters. Nobody remembers the blaze that never happened. The alarm only rings in the public's memory when smoke rises, when the coverage breaks down, when the goal goes in. Do it right, and you disappear. Do it wrong once, and suddenly you're the villain. Even the guys on his wings know it. They'll admit, half joking and half guilty, that their stats are padded by invisible labor. The goals that looked easy weren't. The open lanes that seemed obvious didn't exist until the center carved them open with a battered body and a pass nobody will replay. It's a strange kind of glory. The better a center does his job, the less anyone notices him. Success erases him from the story. And here's the twist. Maybe that's why they keep going. Because in a game obsessed with names and lights, someone has to be the ghost in the background, carrying the weight while pretending to be invisible. By the third period, his stride had shortened and the fatigue was written across his body language. To the fans, it just looked like another player skating hard. To the trainers and analysts tracking GPS chips, it told a harsher truth. Centers cover more ground than almost anyone else, kilometers upon kilometers each game, turning the ice into a treadmill with no off switch. Add to that the collisions, dozens more per game than a winger, and the picture shifts from endurance to slow demolition. But the toll isn't just in the muscles, it burrows deeper, into the mind. Sports psychologists have a term for it. Athletic burnout syndrome, a cycle of exhaustion, irritability, and dread that eats away at focus. For a center, the fear is sharper. Every lost draw, every late back check feels like proof that a younger, cheaper body should take your place. It's not just fatigue, it's obsolescence stalking you with every shift. From the stands, though, the story never changes. The spotlight only follows the scores, the highlight reel goals. The unsung labor, the clogged passing lane, the perfectly timed back check, vanishes before the broadcast replay even cuts. To the wider world, centers are like pack mules, essential, overworked, and invisible, remembered only when they stumble. And here lies the cruel punchline. The harder a center works, the less visible he becomes. Success erases him from the script, leaving only the bruises as evidence he was ever there at all. The buzzer sounds, the crowd roars, and the hero's name flashes on the scoreboard. Somewhere on the bench, the center is still catching his breath, wondering if anyone even noticed that he just carried the game on legs too tired to celebrate. The press release was only 3 sentences long. No farewell tour, no jersey raised to the rafters, no emotional highlight reel. Just a line buried between trade rumors. Another center had quietly retired. For anyone who'd watched closely, it felt like déjà vu, because that's how most of them leave. History is littered with silent exits. Legendary pivots, men who once logged 25 minutes a night, slipped away with no fanfare. The league, obsessed with goal scorers and shot-blocking heroes, has never built much of a system to honor the ones who sacrificed the most. The pack horses, as one coach put it, are worked until they break, and then replaced by faster, younger legs. The science is brutal. Centers skate farther, absorb more hits, and carry heavier tactical responsibility than almost anyone else on the roster. And yet, when the body finally quits, there are no parades. Fans remember the scorers. The mules are forgotten. But here's the twist. That very invisibility is what cements them into the game's foundation. Every neutral zone trap, every breakout scheme, every perfect transition was built on their shoulders. Their names fade, but their fingerprints remain on the blueprints of hockey itself. Maybe that's the real immortality of a center, not to be remembered, but to be impossible to erase.